being on the other side of the camera.
So for the viewers who just joined, can you explain your background a little bit and when you got interested in the photography business and in the sports, on the sports side of it?
Sure. I grew up playing sports, played all year long, multiple teams at the same time. So I grew up around sports. As a kid, like most kids who play sports, you have that dream of, going as far as possible, playing a little bit different being a girl, especially I'm a little bit older, about 10 years older than you. So it was especially a little bit different back then. That's about when the WNBA got started and stuff, because basketball was my main sport that I played. And then I did some coaching. When I was 14, my dad passed away.
Oh, sorry.
Well, thank you. And he always coached me and my brothers when we played sports, and he was my main idol with sports. So I took over coaching his team, which my little brother played on, when I was 14, and they were 12-year-old boys. So I did that until I was, until I did that for about 10 years. And I still played. And I didn't really get into photography until about 10 years ago. It was more of a hobby. My aunt is a photographer. Not a sports photographer, but a photographer. She helped me purchase my first camera.
Oh, wow.
I kind of dabbled with, Instagram came out and everything, dabbled into photography. And I mainly like to do like landscape or take pictures of family and stuff. And then I was asked by a coworker of mine if I would take pictures at her husband semi-pro football game. And I had the very basic camera, very, very basic camera. Wasn't very good at capturing it, but kind of put the idea in my head. And then I knew I wanted to be involved with sports, but I didn't know how, because, I passed that point where I could do anything, like as far as playing, and I wasn't really interested in any of the other aspects of it. So it kind of dawned on me. And then the 2015 World Cup, the Women's World Cup, I watched that, got very involved in that, and kind of dawned on me, like, this is a way for me to be involved with sports still. So ever since then, I've just been trying to pursue it.
Wow, that's awesome. So obviously I've seen your pictures before, soccer, you post a lot of soccer. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. Who is your role model and influencer in the photography business when you were joining?
At the time, I didn't know. Are you still there? Oh, there you are. There's a few local photographers around the Cincinnati area. Aaron Doster is one of them. I followed him on Instagram for a long time. And then Brad Smith, who's the team photographer for the U.S. Women's National Team. And from there, I just kind of started, people that followed them kind of start looking at their stuff. And I get inspired by photographers at all levels in all sports. So it's really neat.
So who was your favorite soccer team growing up?
Growing up, it's funny because I played soccer growing up, but I wasn't as into it. My dad signed me up for it to keep in shape for the other sports in the off season. So I didn't really honestly watch soccer very much growing up. Oddly enough, I wish I had. Especially like the 99ers and everything with Mia Hamm and that team.
Yeah.
But, now I'd say 2012 is when I really started following it, which is a little embarrassing because there've been people who are so diehard for so long, but it's the truth. But definitely the women's national team for sure. I think the whole team is very inspiring, and I think it's just very unique. That team, very unique. And then in 2016 is when Cincinnati got a USL team, FC Cincinnati. And then they, last year, of course, was their first MLS season. They didn't do so hot, but that also kind of helped me too, because their first two seasons, one of their ticket guys, I reached out to him and said, because I just read to try to shoot as many games as you can, all sports and no matter what level. So they used to let me bring my camera in to the games at the FC Cincinnati games. And so that was awesome too, because I would try to get good seats The seats weren't that expensive. So I would go with my brother to the games, and I would shoot, and I was able to get some decent picture. I mean, I was brand new to it, didn't have a very good camera. It's a very expensive thing to get into photography because the equipment's so expensive and everything when you're paying for it on your own. But I got some good shots, and some of the players started to like some of my pictures, and a couple media outlets reached out to me. So just kind of went from there and just learning how to get credentials and everything. That was a process because I didn't know anything about that stuff until I just started researching.
Wow. So let me ask you this. Have you done like any other sports besides soccer?
Professionally, no. I would love to. Part of I still have, I'm like you, I'm trying to break into doing this. I have a regular 9-to-5 job, so to speak. I don't have the best equipment, which it isn't about equipment always, obviously, but I would love to do other sports, especially, football here in Cincinnati. Well, I guess I shouldn't. Well, Joe Burrow, we might be doing better. Who knows? But in baseball, the Reds, I grew up learning. My dad talked about the Reds, big Red machine. I was a big fan of like Eric Davis, Barry Larkin, all those guys, and Ken Griffey Jr. It would be awesome. It's just finding media outlets that give you that you can get that opportunity, or that the media outlet is big enough so that you will be awarded credentials. So I haven't done any other sport at a professional level yet, but I hope to someday, hopefully, maybe even this coming season, if and when that all comes about. So
that's really good. So let me. What was your most memorable game you covered in soccer?
Let's see here. It would probably be my first one. I took a shot and applied, and I never thought I would get approved. It was when the U.S. women's national team came to Cincinnati. They hadn't been here in, I think, like 10 years before that. And that was a huge, because they were really who gave me that push to inspire me to, take on photography, sports photography. And I was really proud of the way, Cincinnati really showed up to that game. The fans, I think there was over 30,000 fans to that game. So that was my first taste. I didn't really know what I was doing. The other photographers were great and kind of, giving me tips, or this is when you do this, or, you have to do this, and you can't move past this line, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
It's a really neat community too. But that game was awesome to be in the hometown and see that many people turn up and see the team that inspired you. It was great. It was awesome.
So obviously, I want to talk to you about a few players that you took pictures of, Alex Morgan and a couple like Toby Heath. I think you took in picture of, right? Toby Heath.
Yeah.
So what do you think of them as soccer players in the game, and how the women's soccer is growing now over the last few years?
I think it's awesome. I get inspired, by both of them, and I don't, you don't have to play the sport professionally or as a kid to get inspired by a lot of these athletes. As corny as that sounds, it's true in my case. It's crazy because I don't even have, I do all my editing on my phone because I don't have all the, software and stuff yet. So, and like I said, I still have a regular job. So I'm, on breaks and stuff, editing my pictures and stuff like that. And somehow, I don't know how, but Alex Morgan has used some of my pictures. I guess I didn't know the athletes actually looked at the pictures when you tag them, to be honest with you, especially when some of these athletes have millions of followers. And Lindsey Horan, who's on the national team as well, she somebody had contacted me that she wanted to use one of my pictures from when they came to Cincinnati on a T-shirt that they were making to raise money for the I think it was for the NWSL, the Women's Professional League for soccer. And so I guess that's how. And I think I sent a picture to her, like DM'd her a picture because she had requested it. And then I don't know this because I had not personally talked to either one of them, but I think that it was one of her and Alex Morgan, and I think she must have sent it to Alex Morgan, and then she posted it. And then like 6 months later, I was at work and I got contacted by Alex Morgan's agent.
Oh, wow.
and asked, if I could send them a picture of the certain pictures without my watermark on it. And I said, sure, DM. And then they always give picture cred, which is a big deal with photography because that's why you have your watermark. The U.S. Women's National Team has a big fandom, and some fans are not very good at they like to take your pictures sometimes and use them for their own stuff, which is fine. But when they take out, don't give you credit and stuff because you work hard for that. So I'm sure you can understand. But to have somebody like Alex Morgan use my photo is crazy. Tobin Heath, I don't think has used any of my pictures yet. But Rose Lavelle has on it for a couple of things. Earlier this year, there was one of our trading cards they used one of my pictures for. So that was really cool too. I never imagined that would happen.
Wow, that's really awesome. That's
yeah. But I don't even know how it happened. I'm very grateful. It's crazy.
Wow. So I'm sure that this. I'm sure you know about this photographer named Anthony Bucci who passed away.
Yes.
Yeah. So did you? So let me. What are your thoughts on him as a photographer in the sports industry? And did you look up to him also, looking at his craft and how he did? Who did you look up to, trying to mold like your career around? But specifically him, because I feel like he was I think he was the symbol of photography, and he was the main person for all of the business in the business. So, what do you think of him as a leader or person before he passed away?
I didn't personally know him or ever meet him or anything, but his photography, I would just scroll through and look at his photographs along with a lot of other photographers as well. And it sounds like he was a veteran in sports photography for sure. It's terrible what happened. Obviously, I know it shocked a lot of people in the sports world and the sports photography world, and everybody had such kind things to say about him and stuff. So that was very, very sad. So my heart goes out to his family for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, you're good. As far as who I modeled, because it's weird calling it a career to me. Because like I know you're aspiring to be a sports reporter. I'm still feel like I'm trying to aspire to be a sports photographer. So I know you could probably relate with a lot of it. But so it's crazy to say my photography career. It's still surreal to hear that. But I don't know that I'm really. I don't know if you would necessarily say that I'm modeling it after any specific photographer, to be honest, as weird as that sounds. Mm-hmm. I just know what my goal is, what I want to do, and hope to achieve it, and just trying to do whatever I can to make that happen. So, see where it leads me.
USWNNTT just joined US. Oh, okay. So my next question is, what advice would you give these young kids or young people that are trying to be in the same business as you? What advice would you give them?
I would give them the same advice that I always read and apply it for them. Just go get a camera and keep shooting and learn as much as you can. And shoot as many sports as possible for sure. Because when I first got my camera, you don't see it on my Instagram now, but because it's when I had like the very basic camera and lens, but I would shoot, youth football games, the semi-pro football games, youth baseball. So I, tried to do all kinds of different sports at different levels for sure. There's nothing too small to shoot, and you really do learn how to, get to know your camera and how to position yourself, just how it goes. It's always obviously different in every game. Sometimes it just comes down to luck as far as getting a shot. But the better you know your camera, I'm still learning so much. So that would be my advice. Just go out to places on the weekend and stuff once sports resume, and just shoot. Just keep shooting, and then and then start trying to get credentials and stuff, and figuring out that process and for the different sports and stuff, and just keep doing it. The good thing about it is if you don't have to do this as a living to obviously. You can go out there and you can get into the games and make it not, I don't want to call it a hobby, but I just feel like it's unique. It's something you can do on the weekends and still pursue. You don't have to drop everything in your current, you know what I mean, your current job. Yeah.
So there's an account just joined. Her name is Tobin Heath PR17. I don't know if that's the real Tobin Heath or is that a fan page or.
I think it's probably a fan account, probably.
Okay. But so my next question is, so how like do you like, obviously there's new cameras that come out every year with new features. How often do you upgrade your cameras just to keep up with the new system, I think, with the cameras?
Me personally, not having the budget to really do that very often. I got the camera that I use now. I got a little over 2 years ago, and that's the camera that I've used the entire time. I'm not sure how often somebody who does this every day in, day out for a living, like somebody who works for like USA Today or someone like that, changes out their equipment. I would guess every couple years. I'm not sure because I mean some of the camera bodies alone can be $5,000+. So I think it depends too if you're a staff photographer for a media outlet versus just freelance. I think it just depends on so many things.
Oh, okay. So before I let you go, I got a few rapid fire questions for you and one more thing. But favorite food?
Favorite food, I would say tacos or pizza.
Favorite music? Or do you listen to hip hop too, or just any kind of music?
I listen to everything but country, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Favorite hip hop artist currently and old school?
Old school, I would say, I listen to all kinds of stuff. Biggie, Tupac, even some Master P back in my day. Tribe Called Quest. Currently, I like Drake a lot. I listen to a lot of R&B too. I really like Jeremiah a lot and Vori. So I listen to a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's for me. Every time I work out, I listen to hip hop rap. So it gets me into the zone. Mm-hmm. Favorite thing to do outside of your work?
It usually still has something to do with sports. If watching or also hanging out with family and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Favorite sports movie?
Ooh, let's see. Growing up, my dad had me watch this movie called The Pistol about Pete Maravich. I used to like to watch that. Sunset Park, basketball movie, and Varsity Blues. I liked a lot too.
Favorite non-sport movie?
Oh gosh, there's so many. One movie, like if it's on TV, I'll stop and put it on every time and still have is Knocked Up and Wedding Crashers. I really like those two. Yeah,
that was funny. So Kawhi Leonard's laugh or Kevin Hart's laugh?
I would have to say Leonard. I don't know why. It's more low key, but it cracks me. It cracked me up. It made me laugh for sure because it was just so different.
Then the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the frontline people that is helping us right now during this tough situation?
Oh, for sure. It's unbelievable the things that people are doing. And I'm so appreciative. I've got two sister-in-laws. One's a nurse practitioner and one's a nurse, so they work on the front lines as well. But also not just, I know today's National Nurse. I think is it?
Yeah. National Nurse Day today. Yeah.
So I could never do that. I worked at a hospital for a while, but I could never do that type of work. So I definitely have respect for that, and it's unbelievable. But also the service workers that are in the healthcare industry. It's the people who have to, like, environmental services, who have to clean up and make sure everything's sterilized and stuff like that. Everything. It's a whole chain process, supply chain that takes care of and supplies products for nurses and doctors and stuff. And so definitely have a lot of respect and very grateful for what they're doing.
So whoever just joined the chat or who was in the chat for this interview, Please, my cousin and I, my brother, we have a GoFundMe page right now for all the frontline people and the local food businesses, and the link is in my bio on Instagram. Everyone go check out the link and donate. We raised over 2K, and we've been handing out food, sandwiches to all the cops and all the nurses, doctors, and today we went to the soup kitchen to deliver more things. So everyone, please go donate. Anything will help right now in this tough situation. And there she is, the talented Jamie Smed.
Thank you.
Keep up the great work. You're the best. And I'll be posting this interview on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. So.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate this.
Yeah, no problem. And you're having